I found out that my ex was gay through Cashapp. And before I get into how I even got down to the whole Cashapp thing, I want to start with giving you guys a backstory on just him as an individual and why I had suspicions of him being gay from the beginning. So, when I first got with Joey, we gonna call him Joey. When I first got with Joey, everything was cool. Like, I had no suspicions whatsoever. Also, I was much younger and I could not clock if somebody was gay or not. Like, I feel like now that I'm older, I can clock it way better than I could when I was younger. I don't even think I had the ability to clock it at all. So, anyways, we were together or whatever, and he would do certain things that at the time I didn't think was gay, but now that I'm older, I'm like, that's so like sassy. So he would talk about all of his friends. He was gossiping about everybody. He always compared himself to everybody. It was like he wanted to be the baddest bitch in the room at all times. He would even compete with me. Like, it was very weird. And so moving forward, we ended up breaking up like 2 years in. And I started hanging out more. Like, when I was with him, I wasn't going out. I just disconnected from my friends. So anyways, I had broke up with him after 2 years, and I had reconnected with one of my high school friends. And I did have suspicions of him being gay towards the end. And that was just because of how sassy he was with the gossiping and da-da-da-da and the competition. So I was like, I had these suspicions. So I had talked to my friend. We can call her Ray. So I was sitting down talking to my friend Ray, and I was like, Ray, I have suspicions of him like being gay. And Ray is gonna look at me and she's gonna be like, you don't remember, like, there was a whole rumor that he had in college about him getting some top from this guy in college, this openly gay man in college. I'm like, no, I did not know that. And why didn't you ever tell me? I know we disconnected from each other, but when I first got with Joey, she did not say anything about him. I'm ashy, hold on. She didn't say anything about that rumor from college. So I'm like, okay, girl, so you saw me with this guy knowing that there was this rumor. So anyways, she ended up telling me the story about how in college there was this openly gay guy, and his name was Peaches, and that was his true name. His name was Peaches. And this is no shade to anybody gay. Like, I have multiple gay friends. I don't care if anyone's gay. You know, it's just I was dating a straight guy, and I was expecting to date a straight guy, but he was DO, which is not fair to me. But anyways, so the guy Peaches went to college with him. And Peaches had ended up like opening up to somebody about how Joey got top, or whatever you want to call it, from Peaches, showing the friend text and everything. So anyways, this friend of Peaches outed Joey like, oh, Joey is gay. Joey got some top from Peaches, da-da-da-da. Whatever. I don't really know all the specifics because this is just like what Ray had told me. So a couple days later, Joey had bumped into Peaches outside in a public like area and fought Peaches for this rumor. And mind you, at the time, I'm still like, dang, I'm still naive. I'm like, dang, that's an allegation. And it wasn't proven. So I was just like, an allegation, whatever. But I still was like, why wouldn't you have told me there were those allegations? Because no shade if there's allegations and it gets that deep, low key, y'all know. And this is no shade to anybody. I just wanted to know, like, if I was messing with somebody who was gay. Like, if he was gay, he could come out and we could be homegirls. Like, I got a gay best friend. Like, we could really, like, do whatever. All three of us could kick it. Anyways. So, it came and went, whatever. I wasn't tripping anymore. I was like, well, I don't know if he's gay. I did have these suspicions. I still don't know. And I'm not here to call nobody gay if they're not. And, so time went by, and me and Joey ended up hanging out again. You know what I mean? Like, we were broken up, but we ended up hanging out. And so I ended up coming over to his place, and we ended up getting drunk. And so I was laying on his bed, like where the pillow is at the top of the bed. And my head's on the pillow, and I'm just chilling there drunk. And my eyes are closed. And then I open my eyes, and like towards the left of the bed, there he is. Yeah, to the left of the bed, there he is with his face down and ass up, like that position, like not arched, but literally head here, butt here, like arched up. And I mean, we were drinking, so I'm thinking like he acting real loose. But that was like the last straw. And I'm not trying to say somebody's gay because they were drunk and ended up sitting. But he wasn't passed out though. He was still able to talk to me. He was like doing that, like that was like a comfort position for him, y'all. I was like, what is going on? So anyways, he was in this position and I didn't want him to know that I'm clocking his teeth. So I'm just like, I didn't say anything or whatever. But that was the last straw for me. I'm like, I need to know if this man is gay. Like, I have mentioned it to him previously, like, oh, Ray told me about that story from college, and he was just like, man, that guy was tripping. So I did kind of ask him, and he just denied it. But I really needed to know for myself. So anyways, he ended up falling asleep, not in that position. He ended up getting out of that position and falling asleep. And I knew his password to his phone. It was always the same. So I went through his phone, y'all. I do not go through people's phones. Mind you, we were together for a minute, and I never went through his phone. Probably like once or twice. I never found anything, but I don't go through people's phones. But I had to know. So anyways, he had fell asleep and I started looking through his phone or whatever. And the first thing I did was just look through his text messages. I used certain words just to try to see if anything would come up. Mind you, the man didn't have much in his phone, which is weird. Like every time I ever did go through his phone in the past, there wasn't much. Like he would clean his phone every day or something like that. Anyways, so I went through his phone. There wasn't much, but I did see that there was this one thread, and it was a Mexican man. It was a picture of a Mexican man, and it was no name, and it was a number and the guy's like contact photo, and all it was a picture of my ex sent to this man. And it wasn't like maybe like a work picture or anything like that. It was literally like a picture he took of himself like this in the bed, like laid up, and it was like he had I'm not even trying to laugh. And he had like this certain like smirk, like he was trying to be cute. I don't know. So anyways, I saw that and I was like, that's weird. But then again, I still wasn't trying to call it anything. Like I was like, okay, that was weird, but oh well, like whatever, next. So then at the time I had this friend who put me onto this whole, like, if you're ever going through someone's phone, look through their Cashapp. And mind you, I never did that before. I never thought of it, but it was just a coincidence. Like that week, my friend was talking about going through people's Cash Apps. That's where they dirt is. So anyways, I went through this man's Cash App. And it was a whole bunch going on. A few cents here, a few cents there. Payments here, payments there. Nothing looked too weird until I got to this one payment. It was $100 and it looked like a female, like a woman. And something told me to click on it, and I did. And when I clicked on it and I like looked at the picture closer, it was a trans woman. The picture was a trans woman, and I still didn't want to believe it. I was like, and I have nothing against trans women. I totally support trans women, mind you. That's not the problem. The problem is he claimed that that's not what he was into. So anyways, I saw the picture and I assumed it to be a trans woman, and so I took the name and I put it into IG. And as soon as I put it into IG, I find the page that had the same exact photo. And so, come to find out, the girl's page was open. It was a trans woman, and she actually lived in New York. Mind you, we live in California. So I was like, oh, okay, so he got him a little boo, out the way, whatever. And so I hit up the woman, and I didn't know if she was going to respond. I was like, this is kind of weird. I just needed to know. I needed to know. So anyways, I messaged her, and I'm thinking she ain't gonna respond. She responded back in like 2 minutes before I could even leave the Instagram app. Like, I see her text me back, and I was just pretty much like, oh, do you know anyone named Joey? And at first she was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, she did not want to agree. She was just like, no, like, Joey who? We were talking about. Then I explained further, and she still was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, well, I just saw that, my boyfriend, I lied and said it was my boyfriend. It wasn't, it was my ex. I said, well, I just seen my boyfriend was sending a few, like, a few Cash Apps out to a bunch of different women. So I was just seeing, if you were this girl. And I guess the fact that I said something about multiple women he was sending Cash Apps to, she was offended. Oh, then she started to get to singing. So once I mentioned that he was sending money to all different girls, I guess that pissed her off. So she was like, actually, yes, I do know Joey. We've been talking for about 3 weeks. So mind you, we've been talking for about 3 weeks. We only hung out one time. I didn't ask how they hung out or like who flew where. It was not my business. I was just like, what? And then she said we didn't do it, but we messed around. And I don't know what messed around me, but that was enough. And then she was just also like, and he knew exactly who I was, and he knew exactly who I was from the beginning. Like, it was not a surprise. I didn't have to like bring it onto him. He knew exactly who I was. So pretty much that's all she gave me, and that's all I needed. So I was just like, oh, thank you. You know, she was really sweet. Like, I forgot exactly what was said. This was a long time ago. But I do remember, like, our last bits of conversation was just like, okay, girl, you cute, you know. Anyways, so I'm going to give the girl the name TT or whatever. I don't know if I named her already. We're going to name her TT. So anyways, I get on the phone with him, and I pretty much confront him. I'm like, so, who is TT? And he was just like, that's nobody. And I did admit to going through his phone. I was like, well, I seen that you sent TT $100. Like, what's that about? And he was like, cussing me out. He was like, what the F? Why are you going through my phone? Why are you going through my stuff? That's nothing. Like, that was for my friend. Like, he's claiming that the money was sent off of his Cash App to a friend or whatever. And he was just pretty much going off. But at this time, I'm thinking like, you know what? I know what I know. I'm going to stop lying to myself. It is what it is or whatever. And I just said, okay, you got it. And I just ended the phone call. And then after that, I pretty much went no contact, and I didn't even deal with him. Like, that's all that I took from it. So mind you, I'm living my life, and I'm just like, okay, for me, it's 100% facts. Like, it is what it is. There's too many signs. I got the tea from the girl. I didn't really get any receipts, but I was like, whatever. I took it for what it was. You know, I didn't want to keep lying to myself. Like, that's not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. So anyways, I just let it go, and it's not my business anymore. Move on with your life. I'm going to move on with mine. So anyways, as time goes on, months later, I'm just chilling at my house, and I get a call. And the call is from Joey. And Joey is like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for everything. Did you hear what happened? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear what happened. What happened? And he's like, oh, all right, well, nothing. And I'm just like, what is going on? Sorry for what? Why should I be concerned? So anyways, mind you, I don't live in the city we once lived in. I don't keep up with anybody. I don't know the tea. Like, you know, I don't know what's going on. So anyways, I ended up reaching out to someone who lives in the city. And I'm like, what's going on with Joey? Like, he called me saying he's sorry for da-da-da-da-da. And somebody told me, why did Joey's cousin, who was like his best friend, pretty much out him all over social media with all the receipts about him being gay? It was all on social media. I screen recorded everything just for my own proof. Anyways, it was receipts with him and other men. And also the story about TT popped up. And also they mentioned that the cousin mentioned, Kate always assumed you was gay. Like, you know, the truth is out. And so anyways, that's what I knew. I was always right, and my intuition was right, and he was. And at the end of the day, I do not judge him for that. I judge him for the fact that you can't just keep it 100. And I know that's not an easy thing to do, but at the same time, it's wrong to be dealing with a woman who's expecting to deal with a straight man. So the moral of the story is, if someone is sus, check that Cash App, check that Zelle. You know, when you're doing these investigations about your man, also make sure and see if he's gay. And also to the TT girl, if you are seeing this, you know it's all love. Like, no shade.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video, back in the confessional. And yes, we staying lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Hey, check this out. Hit the links down below. We got HiveMindLabs.com where you can unbig that back. All right, man, let's get into this crazy situation now. Old girl says she found out her boyfriend was gay through Cash App. Wasn't her boyfriend, it was her ex-boyfriend, but she still went through his phone. I guess him having his ass tooted up in the air wasn't enough for her to say, you know what, I don't want to mess with this guy, but I want to check out some more. I know women have this investigative intuition that they always decide to do, but like what I say is, if you go looking, you might find something, and it might not be what you want, but it's going to be something. Okay, because if you have an intuition of somebody either cheating or being gay, or whatever, and you're gonna find whatever you're gonna find something. Okay, especially if you the fact that you think that your man is not being faithful to you in any way, you're gonna find something, and it doesn't even matter if you don't find nothing. You're gonna keep looking, and you're gonna keep looking. At that point, I just say, why do you want to be with somebody who you don't trust? Okay, this is all about trust. If you don't trust somebody, or if you think something is off with somebody, don't be with them. Like, if I have an inkling that a woman is, talking to other guys, or, still dealing with her baby mom, baby daddy, or whatever, listen, hey, this is not the relationship for me. Okay. And yes, they are out there. You know what I'm saying? There's women out here that just, living like guys, which I would consider, you know, being free, sexually active. Okay, so you have a right to not deal with somebody just based on that, and it doesn't take to go invade somebody's privacy, or whatever. To each his own. I understand if you was with the man, that invading his privacy be one thing, but if you're not with him, then invading his privacy is exactly that. So would I consider you a friend if you're invading my privacy? No, I wouldn't. Also to the cousin, well, I don't know what family drama y'all got going on, but that was kind of wrong. And I think it's just like people just want to do too much. Everybody want to, get that viral moment, and actually people get hurt in these situations. Just if y'all don't know, like we can see when things go to social media, it gets crazy. It do get crazy when it goes to social media. So be mindful for what you put out there. All right. As far as the whole Cash App thing, I'm not sure if Cash App is the way to find somebody's gay, but you can definitely find out if somebody's cheating through Cash App. Based on who they receiving Cash Apps from, or who they're sending Cash Apps to. Like, if it's a girl, 9 times out of 10 she's receiving Cash Apps from guys. Okay, unless she has a boyfriend in jail or an ex. She got an ex that is locked up. Check that Cash App, because she might be sending that man Cash Apps, because a lot of people in jail get Cash Apps from somebody else, or they create a Cash App and somebody has control of it so they can get the cash. You know what I mean? So that's that. But if it's a guy, he's probably sending Cash Apps to various women. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you know, you know. Girls are always hungry. They always need a bottle. They always want to do something. You might want to, fly a girl out and pay for her flight. So you send her the cash with a Cash App, and then that's how they get together. It just is what it is. That's how you find out. Like, why you send $300 to this person? Or no, it'd be like, why'd you send $372 to this person? That's a very specific number. This is probably about how much a flight costs to wherever. So because the way the world is, Instagram and Facebook and all these apps that people, meet up on, what's this TikTok, you know, people have access to a lot of people. So, Cash App is a way to get money from here to there. Like, you're not just pulling up on somebody no more. You just Cash App. So there's a lot of ways. I think somebody said another way to catch somebody cheating. I don't know. You can go through emails, you can go through archive messages and stuff like that. But needless to say, all I gotta say is this: if you don't trust somebody enough, like if y'all getting serious, I understand. Hey, we getting serious. I just want to know if I'm the only person you talking to. You're not doing this with any other person. Okay, then I'm gonna trust you from that. But if I have the think that you're talking to somebody else. I just don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I've even been in relationships where I was with somebody, and we was breaking up and getting back together, and I was just like, are you talking to other guys? And she was like, no. I said, well, let me see your phone. And she was like, no. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry. I don't want to see it, but I do know we're not gonna be together, because you sitting here lying to me in my face and won't show me your phone, but you'll be quick to go through my phone. So just, don't deal with stuff like that. Like, just leave it alone. So at the end of the day, these relationships never work out. There's a bunch of toxic stuff going on, and somebody gonna end up hurt. You know what I mean? And to avoid all that, just move on with your life and don't worry about it. Everyday people, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.